Hey everyone, welcome to Bookbinding for Occupations. Today you're going to make a book that looks like this. Yours will look different because you're going to have picked out your own scrapbook paper. The side looks like this. You're going to learn some techniques to be able to sew it together with waxed linen or waxed cotton. And the inside of your book will have a plain color piece of paper or cardstock, and then your pages will look like this. We're using computer paper for this project, but you can use lots of different kinds of paper. You can use recycled paper. The possibilities are endless. So I want to start by pointing out to you a couple things. The first important thing is your instruction sheet. Your instruction sheet has the 20 necessary steps that you'll be taking to make your own book. And then on the back of that, there's the bookbinding materials list. The materials list pretty much goes in the same order as the instructions. So if you look at step 1, it says fold signatures. And it says next to that 25 sheets and 5 signatures of 5. So on the materials list, it says 25 sheets of computer paper. So you're going to first start by counting out 25 sheets of computer paper, just plain white paper. And then you're going to make your signatures. Signature consists of 5 pieces. So you'll separate your 25 sheets into 5 stacks of 5. And you'll take each stack and simply fold them in half. So that when you put all of your stacks together, you have 5 sets or 5 signatures. And bookbinding, each of these is called a signature. Step 2 says to get your 2 cover pieces, and they should measure 9 inches by 6 inches. Your cover pieces are going to look like this. And they might not be made of cardboard, they might actually be made of mat board like your materials list says. But they're already cut for you, so you don't have to make sure that they're 9 by 6. The third thing you're going to do is water down some Elmer's glue. I've already done that. And this Elmer's is soupy enough to where it falls off the foam brush, but it's not super watery. It still has a glue-like consistency, except it's not as thick as glue, but it's not as liquidy as water. The fourth step says to cut the outside of your scrapbook paper big enough to fold over. That's 10.5 inches by 7.5 inches, and I've already cut mine. Yours is already cut as well. You'll just pick out what size you want. When you match it up to your paper, or to your cover rather, it should have enough to leave a big section of paper hanging off, because you're going to end up folding this over. All right, so step 5 says coat the outside cover. That's this. So you're going to coat the outside cover with a thin layer of diluted Elmer's. So when you do that, you're going to want to stick your foam brush in, let it drip off, and then wipe it along the side. You don't want it to be super soupy. And then you're going to coat your whole entire cover, just one side of it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and coat my cover, making sure that the entire cover is coated. You might need to get a little bit more glue to make sure that the whole thing is covered with glue. And spread out your glue. You don't want to have big areas of gloppy glue and then other areas that have it thin. To be pretty consistent around the whole cover. So when I'm done putting my glue on, it should look just about like that. Step 6 says cut off the corners, leaving a little corner edge. Okay, so what that means is cut off the corners of... Step 5, coat the outside cover with a thin layer of glue and turn over to be sure all bubbles are out. So what you need to do is put this now on your table with the white side up. So you want the design touching your table. Then you're going to take your cardboard and you want to put it down on your cover and immediately start rubbing it to smooth out any bubbles. So when you lift it up, this is now glued to your cover. Flip it over to see if there are any bubbles. Put it down so that your design is facing you, and just rub with your hand to make sure there aren't any bubbles and that it's completely stuck. Well, this is what you have now. Okay, you're going to do that to the other cover as well. And then step 6, it says cut off the corners, leaving it a little corner edge. What that means is, because we're going to be folding this over kind of like we're wrapping a present. So, and you know, sometimes when you wrap a present, the corners can get kind of messy looking. We're going to avoid that whole experience of having messy corners by just cutting the corners off. You want to leave a little edge though. So notice that I left a little bit. I didn't cut right up to the cardboard. You're going to do that on all 4 sides on both the front and the back cover. To save time on the video, I'm only going to show it to you on the front cover. Step 7, it says use the wooden stick to fold a crease in the side. So I'm going to grab my wooden stick, I'm going to fold my sides over, and I'm going to crease them. I'm going to crease them with the wooden stick, and that looks like this. Let's see. Don't want to press too hard, and you want to make sure that there is no space between your paper and the edge of the book. So you're going to do that on the other side. Fold it over, crease it with your wooden stick. All right, you're going to pinch the corners. So step 8 says pinch the corners and crease the last 2 sides. So right now you're going to pinch the corners. Just fold them down just a little bit. And then you're going to crease in your last 2 sides. Fold them over, get your wooden stick, and crease. So that you have created really nice folds, really clean folds all along. So when you flip it over, you don't see any messy corners. All right. Step 9 says rub the glue on horizontally and then vertically along each side. So once you've got them creased, you're going to open them back up and you're going to rub the glue on. Again, let it drip off, rub off the excess, and it says put it on horizontally. So what that means is you're going to put it on this way first. And then to get rid of any excess, it says, and then vertically. So, and then vertically. You'll just drag it down like that. Lightly drag the glue stick down through the seam. So the foam brush, lightly drag it down through the seam right here. The seam between your paper and your cover. Being sure it is all coated. Then step 10 says to get a clean fold, lift the cover and fold over so the seam is tightly sealed. So what I like to do is, let me see if I can get this on the video at a good angle, is I like to take the cover, put it on the table, touch it to the table and fold it over. You've already creased it with a stick, so you should already have a nice crease there. Fold it over and then press it down. Okay, so when you flip it over, you have a nice clean glue. It's secured. So you're going to dip in the glue. You're going to do it on I'm going to do it on the other long side. Rub horizontally and then vertically. And I'm going to make sure that it's sealed in my seam. I'm going to put it down on the table. Get my good fold. And press. All right. Now I've got my 2 ends to do. This is where it can get a little tricky with the corners, so I'm going to be sure that I don't make a mess of my corners. So I'm going to rub horizontally, vertically, and in my corners. Make sure my corners are pinched before I fold over. All right, now I'm folding over. I've got a nice, clean fold there. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, the last side, vertical, horizontal, pinch my corners, and fold. Okay? So you're going to do that to the front cover and to the back cover. And you're going to have 2 really nice, really clean, polished looking covers. So that takes us through step 1 through step 10 I'm going to create a new video to teach you how to do the interior cover piece and to how to match the signatures up. Okay, so this concludes video number 1.